everyone. I'm Mr. Rashid Kumar from Homeopathy 360. I'm a second student of Jain Agency and your coordinator for today's webinar. In today's webinar of Homeo Talks 2025, our today's topic is exploring efficacy of homeopathy in managing sport injuries. Our speaker for today is Dr. Priyanka Shah. She is a professor in HOD in Department of Surgery at Jawaharlal Nehru Homeopathic Medical College, Parur University, Vadodara. So I would now like to hand over to Dr. Priyanka ma'am.
Thank you, Harshit. Good evening, all of you. Thank you for being here. And I hope you will have a good session with us. Uh, my topic for today is exploring the efficacy of homeopathy in management of sports injuries. Everybody is in today's era is some or how attached with sports. The awareness of sports, the importance of sports in our life has now been increased. And homeopathy has a very good results in managing all the sports injuries. So I would like to start my session. I hope I am audible to all. Harshit, am I audible properly?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so regular physical exercise is integral to the body for being healthy. However, stressing the human body beyond its limits may lead to certain injuries. Sports medicine is the science of understanding how these injuries can be avoided, recognized when they do occur, and then treated appropriately. So we must always focus on how and in what amount we need to stress our body. Sports injuries are in principle the same as other injuries, so there is not a major difference between a normal injury and a sports injury. The major difference can be in the expectation of the patient, in the sense that how early a patient can recover because he or she has to resume her day-to-day activities. Sports medicine has been defined as a scope of medical practices that focuses on prevention, diagnosis, treatment, and rehabilitation of injuries that occurs during physical activities. Okay, it's not that sports injuries only mean those who are attached with the sports. They have this type of injury. Anybody uh, doing any kind of physical activities, maybe in a form of routine exercises, can also have this type of injury, and it is covered under sports injury. Prevention, diagnosis, management of medical condition that occur during or after physical activities, promotion and implementation of regular physical activity in the prevention, treatment, and rehabilitation of chronic disease of lifestyles. So sports medicine, it's together a separate branch of medicine. Nowadays it has been evolved as a separate branch of medicine, which not only deals with just treating the injuries, but also it also deals with prevention and rehabilitation, that is post injury. What happens after injury, after sports injury, what things we can do to rehabilitate the patient, and also the prevention of these injuries. Classification of injuries, here the classification is pertaining to sports injuries only. Acute, chronic, and overuse injuries. So there's a broad three classifications we have. One is acute, chronic, and overuse injuries. Acute injuries occur suddenly in an activity. Pain and loss of functions are immediate. Are that we observe during a cricket match or during a football match, that on the ground the player is injured. So these are those are acute injuries. They are further classified as acute intrinsic extrinsic injuries. They are those which arise from a direct external blow. These are commonly wounds, bruises, and fractures. That what we all see when we on field when the player gets injured. It may be a direct or a direct bruise or direct wound, direct hit from a ball. Acute intrinsic injuries. These are the results from failure of a patient's structure as a result of excessive loading, like tendon ruptures, avulsion, common term which we come across in sports injuries. So that is a type of intrinsic injuries. Okay, inner injuries. Chronic injuries tend to start out as acute injuries and then reoccur as a result of weakness to the injured site or insufficient rehabilitation after injury. Right, so chronic injuries, they basically start as acute injuries, but if these acute injuries are not properly taken care of, looked after, they can turn into a chronic injuries like a ligament tear. They are those with an insidious or unknown onset, commonly inflammation or failure, secondary to repetitive loading. Avoid lack of rest to that particular part may result an acute injury turn into a chronic one. The examples are Achilles tendon and stress fractures. Stress fractures, overuse of any inflammation. A part is being injured, and if we continue to use that part again and again without giving rest to that part, can lead to a chronic injury of that part. Overuse injuries are caused by excessive and repeated use of the same muscle, joint, or bone. So, repeated use of that injured part may lead to a overuse injuries. I have shown a pain cycle, that is a tissue injury, then continued activity, again pain, again inflammation, again this vicious cycle goes on and results in overuse injuries. There are certain factors which affects the injuries. They are the change in the environment, worn out equipment. Okay, it is always said that when you are attached with any exercise or any sport, you have to be in a proper manner to continue that activity. Manner in the sense, proper training, proper use of equipments like shoes, or if it is a cricket, then a pad, gloves. If they are not fitting properly, then it may result in any kind of injuries. A change in the environment or worn out equipments may both bring out an overuse injury as can excessive training when the patient is not fit enough to tolerate it. In younger patients, the weakest area of a tendon is the epiphyseal attachment. In adults, it is the musculotendinous junction more liable to injury. In adolescents, the common sites are tendon insertions. Examples are anterior superior iliac spine, anterior inferior iliac spine, lesser trochanter of the femur, and the ischial tuberosity. That is the hamstrings. Okay, the hamstrings are stretched. That is a common complaint in adolescent attached with the exercise or sports. Okay, this is a table showing the different types of sporting injuries. One is the soft tissue injuries and the other is the hard tissue injuries. There are basically types are divided depending upon which tissues are involved. So one is the soft tissue injuries. It can be a sprain, soft tissue, the structure involved are the movement, the movement forcing the joint, it's not of or walls, such as on the knee of football. Okay, so this type of environment that would when we
Ma'am, your
that
voice is not audible.
uh, Harshit, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry for the interruption. So we were discussing the types of sports injuries. Broadly, different according to different parts involved. They are divided into soft tissues and hard tissues. As we have discussed, sprain, strain, contusion, and open wound comes in soft tissues. Sprain, they are the ligaments which are affected, and it can be excessive movement, forcing the joint past its maximum range of motion, or external violence such as a side push on the knee during a football tackle. Strain, overstretching of the muscles or tendon. Generally we come across these type of injuries in a cricket match. Contusion, muscle, tendon, and skin. Direct blow from a collision when a group of players are performing together and there is a collision. Okay, then we have contusions. It can be small to bruise or major to hematoma. Open wounds like cut, abrasions, and lacerations, skin is affected. Direct blow from a collision with a player or a piece of equipment. Other comes the hard tissues, which involves the bones and the joints. So they are the fractures, direct trauma such as blow, indirect trauma such as falling on an outstretched hand, and dislocations like excessive movement of the joint, which can result in this type of injury. Sprains, strains, and bruises, these are the common injuries which we come across while doing exercises or while involving in any of the sports. So we'll try to understand the terms. Injuries that involve body tissues apart from bones are generally classified as soft tissue injuries, although the cause and soft tissues involved in each injuries are different. So there are different soft tissues that we have seen in the last table which can be involved. So a sprain is an injury that involves the ligaments or any tissues around a joint, such as an ankle or wrist. It is a stretch or tear of the ligament. So, sprain is always, even we come across this type of cases in our day to day life, also, like a sprain while lifting a heavy thing or by missing a step. We come across this type of injury. A strain occurs away from a joint and involves twisted, torn, or overstretched muscles or tendon, like falling on an outstretched hand. Bruise is a soft tissue injury that involves the skin and nearby tissues following a blow or other forces that break a blood vessels close to the surface of the body. Bruising may be seen with a sprain or strain. The color of tissues may indicate the time of injury. So, by looking at the bruise, we can come to know that how much time has evolved. Like if they are reddened, that means it is the initial stage. Then, slowly, that reddened area will turn into purple as the blood gets slowly absorbed and then it becomes bluish. So, this will tell us the time that has been passed post injury. Ligaments. Ligament injuries are acute injuries and can be graded according to their severity. So there is a again a different kind of grading for ligament injuries. So one is normal ligament. The second grade is no increase in joint laxity, but there is tenderness around the injured ligament. Third grade is partial disruption of the ligament fibers with increased joint laxity and a soft endpoint. Okay, so first is the ligament is normal. Second grade is there is no increase in joint laxity, but you may find a little bit of tenderness and pain. Third grade is partial disruption of ligament fibers with increased joint laxity and a softened point. And fourth is complete disruption, that is complete tear of the ligament, and there is increased joint laxity. So these are the four grade of ligament injury. Depending upon the intensity of the injury, this grading has been done. This it is difficult to assess in acute phase. If we want to actually assess how we'll grade this, we have to compare with the normal side, that is the opposite side, and surgical repair may be needed for complete disruption. So the fourth grade always requires a surgical repair where the ligaments are totally torn. Bursae. Bursaes are found between the joints and overlying tissues or muscles and tendons, and they are small fluid filled endothelium lined sacs. They decrease the frictional force between the structures but can become inflamed. So that is commonly we use the term bursitis. The most commonly affected sites are over the first metatarsal phalangeal joint. It is known as bunion. In front of the patella, that is housemaid's knee, which is commonly seen in those ladies who are involved in doing household works, which is involving the knee, like frequent bending, and behind the elbow, that is ulcranon bursa. They can become inflamed or even infected. If they fail to settle with appropriate treatment, then they can be surgically excised. So last option again is here, surgical interventions, if the conditions are very severe. Then comes dislocated joints. So this here we are discussing the different areas where which can be involved in a sports injury. We are particularly doing with the dealing with the sports injury. So those areas which are commonly involved during sports, which are commonly injured during any of the sports activity or exercises, that we are dealing with. So another point is that of dislocation of joints, which is very common during sports injuries. A dislocated joint is when the two bones that come together to form a joint become separated. The joints most frequently dislocated are some of the hand joints and the shoulder. So shoulder dislocations while doing rigorous exercises is very common, specifically in adults. Fractured bones. A fracture is a break in the continuity of the bone. There are two types of fractures. Acute fractures, it can be simple, a clean break of the bone with little damage to the surrounding tissue, or compound fractures, which pierces the skin with little damage to the tissues. Stress fractures, they are caused by repeated stress of to the bone over time. uh, we have seen the different injuries. Now we'll talk about how we can prevent these injuries, because it's always said that prevention is better than cure. And those who are involved with the sports, the players as well as those who are regular exercisers, they do take prevention before, so that they do not come across such type of injuries. Because sport injuries, they are because of the areas involved, they tend to be painful. And if it is a major, it may results in either the surgical intervention or completely uh, no damage to their sports activities, so they cannot resume again. There are certain examples where in they have come across such injuries, and they cannot resume their uh, sports again. So they would better go for prevention rather than coming across certain injuries. So sports injuries can be prevented by looking at a wide variety of factors, such as environment of a particular sport, fitness levels, protective equipments, and nutrition. We might have come across the news that the ex player is not fit, and so he or she may not continue in this match. So they this is a sort of prevention of so that there is no major break, and which can they can again resume after they are fit. So, the sports environment includes weather, facilities, surfaces, and equipments they are using. Elements to fitness. Okay, they how they prevent sports injuries. One is stretch. Okay, so they always if we have seen, we also know that there are various warm up activities the players do before going for actual matches. So it is a kind of stretching activities they do, so that they do not come across certain injuries like sprains and overuse injuries. So stretching is one of the elements to fitness that they do. Fluid. they take excessive fluid to prevent dehydration, overheating, and techniques and training of playing with injuries. Okay, so there are certain techniques and training which they undergo to avoid certain types of injuries. Injury prevention, types of protective equipments. This varies from sports to sport and exercise to exercise, but yes, eyewear to protect the eyes if they are involved in certain sports or exercises like swimming, so they wear a particular eyewear. Mouth guards, this we have seen in wrestling and boxing. Wrist, elbow, knee, and shin guards. Those who are involved with the cricket, so they use to this. Helmets, tapes, and braces. Again, to prevent mouth injury. So again, this equipment differs from sports to sports and exercise to exercise. Those areas which are more vulnerable to activities, I mean to injuries in certain sports, they are protected with this type of equipments. Injury management involves, okay, after the injuries. So we have done prevention, okay, but what after somebody come across this type of injuries? So how will you manage the case? Injury management involves identifying the injury, treating it, and then returning to the sport. So it involves all the three areas. It's not just only identifying and treating, it is also focused on returning to the sport. Okay. It's extremely important that sports players are adequately rehabilitated so that they can resume their sports in a better way. If they are not, the injury can become much worse. Okay, so unless and until they are completely fit, certified as fit for resuming the sports, they will not, because if they resume in halfway, then they may worsen the injuries. For serious injuries like spinal injuries, get help first. To assess all other injuries, remember to taps. This is one table to remember how and what to do during sports injuries. So one is talk. First step in management is talk. So ask the player what happened, where does it hurt, and what kind of pain is it. Very very important thing is not to presume, but better to ask the person how this happened. Okay, because that person only knows what happened, because even though the person near to is just busy focusing on the play, so only the person who is being injured knows this. Where does it hurt, what is the exact location, and what kind of pain the patient is or the person is experiencing. So one is talk. Observe, look at the affected area for redness or swelling. Is the injured side different from the other side? Okay, so this always we need to compare with the normal side. Okay, so injured side is always compared with the normal side to know the exact condition. There may be redness, there may be swelling which is visible, so we have to always observe that. Touch. Touch will indicate warmth for inflammation. Okay, so always the injured side may be tender, may be warm compared to the normal side, suggesting of inflammation. So always we have to gently touch so that we are not hurting that patient any more. Active movement. Ask the injured player to move the injured part without any help. Okay, if he is able to move or not. This will help us to assess whether there is some dislocation, there is some fracture or restriction to movement. Skill test. Did the active and passive movement produce pain? If no, can the player stand and demonstrate some of the skills from the game carefully? If an injury is identified, remove the player from the activity immediately. Okay, so it is not always that a player need to be immediately removed, we have to do the skill test. If the player is okay with this skill test, we can ask him to resume the play. But yes, if the injury is identified and the player is unable to continue, then immediately we have to remove the player from the activity. Okay, so if we'll follow these guidelines, then we can easily diagnose the injury in a very short time, and proper treatment can be given as early as possible. Okay, now this table helped us to assess the injury. Okay, so from this table we'll come to know whether the person is injured or not, whether the person requires immediate treatment or not. If not, yes, the person can resume to the play. But if yes, then what? Okay, how we are going to treat? Okay, so if an injury has occurred, we always remember riser. Again, uh, it means rest, ice, compression, elevation, and referral. Okay, so once it is diagnosed that the patient is having injury, the first thing is rest. Rest reduces further damage. Avoid as much movement as possible to limit further injuries. Don't put any weight on the injured part of the body. So rest is totally restriction of the movement that we will supposed to do first. Then ice. Apply a hot or cold pack to the injury for 20 minutes every 2 hours. Continue this treatment for the first 48 to 72 hours. Ice cools the tissue and reduces the pain. It will act as an local anesthesia and swelling and bleeding by vasoconstriction. Okay, so cold will cause vasoconstriction, so it will stop the bleeding and it will reduces the pain effect and swelling. Place cold pack wrapped in a towel onto the injured area. Do not apply frozen cold pack directly to the skin, specifically when the skin is broken. That is when there is bleeding. So we are not supposed to directly apply ice. We will apply indirectly by wrapping up it in a towel. Okay, so this is the ice therapy which we give after restricting the movement. If the bleeding is more, then what we will do, we will compress, we'll apply the pressure and check bandage if it whether it is not too tight. Okay, so we will not tie a very tight bandage, otherwise it will again cause necrosis. Elevation. Elevate the injured area to stop bleeding and swelling. Okay, apart from compression, the other way to stop bleeding is to elevate the part against the gravity, and then after doing this we can refer the person to the doctor. Right, so this is the rice phenomena which we are following as a part of first aid to the injured patient, patient injured with any kind of sports injury. Homeopathy has a very good uh, result in sports medicine, and we have certain examples of homeopaths who are being appointed as a team, as a homeopath in the certain sports, as in the panel of doctors. So first medicine which comes to our mind is Arnica montana. It is important in all kind of injuries, maybe any trauma, any bruises. It is suited to those cases when any injury, however remote, seems to have caused the present trouble. Okay, so in also the chronic injuries, this medicine is useful. It is suited to persons who are extremely sensitive to mechanical injuries and who feel the effect of them longer after. Okay, so there are certain injuries where the effect is even felt years after the injury. Persons easily made train sick or seasick. Patients complain that the bed is hard no matter how soft it may be. This is a typical complaint of the patient, that the patient is not finding himself comfortable on any kind of surface he lies on. Allied to wounds are hemorrhages, and anika causes and cures hemorrhages of many kind, dilatation and rupture of small blood vessels. It is especially suited to cases when any injury, however remote, seems to have caused the present trouble. After traumatic injuries, overuse of any organs, strain, it is a good muscular tonic. Traumatism of grief, remote or sudden realization of financial loss, limbs and body ache as if bitten, joint as if sprained. So it's very good for sprains, strains, uh, affect the venous system, inducing stasis, ecchymosis, and hemorrhages when you have bruises and overuse. Relaxed blood vessels, black and blue spots because of bruises, tendency to hemorrhages and hematomas. It's very good medicine for hematomas. Words, least touch, motion, rest, wine, damp cold weather. Better by lying down or with head low. Okay, this is the typical modalities of arnica. Calendula, another great medicine that we all know. It is a very good antiseptic, and this is the first medicine which comes to our mind when we see bleeding. So, clean cut injuries, surgical cuts, lacerated wounds, suppurating wounds. It prevents suppuration, promotes healthy granulations of tissues, and rapid healing. Calendula helps in healing by early formation by healthy formation of granulation tissues, and it is a very good hemostatic. Okay, a calendula tincture can be mother tincture can act as a very good hemostatic antiseptic lotion. Other medicine is Rustrox. It ailments from strains and overlifting, hot, painful swelling of the joints, pain, tearing in tendons, ligaments, and fasciae, better by motion, soreness of condyles of bone. The cold, fresh air is not tolerated. It makes the skin painful, numbness with formication, tingling sensation, which is very common. After overwork and exposure, tenderness about the knee joint. So there is a lot of tenderness and pain which we will see in Rustox, but the very specific modality is better by continuous motion that we will see in Rustox. Okay, so it is affecting the joints, it is affecting the bones with marked tenderness, it is affecting the condyles of the bone, it is affecting dislocation. It is very useful in dislocations, fall from on outstretched hand. So these are all the indications of Rustox with the specific modality that is better by motion. Next medicine is Ruta. Complaints from straining flexor tendons, especially tendency to formation of deposits in the periosteum, tendons, and about joints, especially wrist, overstrain of ocular muscles. Sprains, again, Ruta is a very good for sprains, missteps, lameness after sprains, fractures, dislocations, hamstrings pull, which is a very common injury, or we can say in the beginners, when we are new and we are doing over exercise, or when we are new in playing. So it is a very common thing. Pull of hamstrings is a very common thing which we come across when we are the beginners. Tendons sore, aching pain in tendo Achilles, and tennis elbow. Tennis elbow is again a very common injury, specifically, obviously, in tennis players because of overuse and overstretch of the elbow, which they do. Other is symphytum. It is considered to be orthopedic specific medicine that we all know. It is very good medicines for fracture. It's of great use in wounds penetrating to perineum bones, non-union of fractures. Very good medicines for non-union of fractures. It facilitates union of fractured bone by favoring production of callus. So it is helping in bones union by callus formation. Pain in eye after a blow of an obtuse body. Specifically, this type of injury is seen in wrestling and boxing. For traumatic injuries of the eyes, no remedies equals this. Other is Bellis perennis. This is the first injury remedy in injuries to deeper tissues after major surgical works. It acts upon the muscle fibers of the blood vessels. Much muscular soreness, lameness as if sprained. Sprain injuries, venous congestion due to mechanical cause, injuries to the nerves with intense soreness and intolerance of cold bathing. It is indicated when sprain has been removed but the pain remains. Okay, so when the sprain is treated but still the patient complains of pain on that same location, this medicine is useful. Next is hypericum, a great remedy for injuries to nerves, especially fingers, toes, and nails. Crushed fingers crushed during any kind of sports, even the fingers crushed in the doors. Very good medicine, especially tips. Excessive painfulness prevents lockjaws, punctured wounds, relieves pain after operations, quite supersedes the use of morphine after operations, and spasms after every injuries. Second medicine is ledum palustre, the easy spraining of the ankles, punctured wounds produced by sharp pointed instruments or bites, particularly if the wounded parts are cold. So specific of ledum is that the part affected is cold. Generally, because of inflammation or swelling, the part affected is warm. But here, ledum, it is cold. Bovista, it is the swelling of the foot after sprains. Calcarea fos, especially indicated in bone diseases, non-union of fractured bones. A specific affinity where bones from sutures or from symphysis, and all its symptoms are worse from any change of weather. It also helps to unite the bones quickly, again by callus formation. These are some of the rubrics which we can use. Injuries, traumatism, it's from Kent repertory. These are certain medicines. We have traumatisms, we have bruises, contusions, bones off, breast off, eye off, parts rich in sentient nerves, persistence of ecchymosis, sprains and strains. So we'll come across these type of rubrics in the repertories, right? So this was all about sports injuries and efficacy of homeopathic medicines in sports injuries. These are my references. The allied portion I have taken from Love and Belly, 26 editions, and major of is from Boric, Materia Medica. I hope my this lecture find useful to you. Thank you for being Thank you for being there, a good listener. If any question to any of the participants, I would like to always answer that. Harshit, over to you.
Okay, ma'am. Anyone having any doubts among the audience?
Okay, I suppose this is all we have for today's session. Thank you for there. Thank you for sparing your valuable time, and thank you, Harshit.
As we conclude today's enlightening session, I want to express our sincere gratitude to Dr. Priyanka ma'am for sharing such valuable insights with us. Your expertise on today's topic has truly left us inspired and more informed. And also, a big thank you to our audience for staying engaged and making this session interactive, and to entire organizing team for ensuring that everything ran smoothly. So, and the recording of today's session will be available on the YouTube channel of Homeopathy 360. So, thank you all, and I wish you all a great day.
Thank you, and I would like to thank Homeopathy 360 also for such opportunity. Thank you.